Okay, we're back, we're live, we're here. Aloha United, we stand. Today we're going to talk about Goodwill Industries. And Goodwill Industries is not exactly what you think it is. It's not a store. That's why the title of our show is Goodwill, more than a store. And it's very true. There are all kinds of other things going on in Goodwill. Okay, and our special guest from Goodwill is Lori Lau. I talked to Lori before the show, and she's not only charming, she's brilliant. So beware of that. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Jay. Thanks so much for having me here, and what an introduction.
Okay, well, let's educate ourselves about Goodwill. It's a nonprofit. It's a national network, I guess you could say, out of originally Boston in 1902, and it's more than a store. But the front end of it, I guess, at least to the public, is a store. And on Beretania Street, and you mentioned in Pearl City, was it?
We have 11 different
11
store
different
locations.
stores. Are they all the size of the one in Beretania Street?
No, they do vary by size, so they're different square footage, but definitely they each have their own unique items and their own personalities, so we definitely encourage you to visit as many as possible for that treasure hunting experience.
Yeah, treasure hunting experience. You know, I told you before, one of my wife's best friends, her best friend, is a Goodwill aficionado. She buys everything at Goodwill.
Right.
Now, this woman she's very artsy. I mean, she is, in fact, I forget all her art, but she's got a lot of art in her life. And that must be connected to what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
She likes to find unique things. So how does it work?
Absolutely. So within Goodwill, with the stores, we're able to accept gently used donations from the community, and they go into the store after they're processed and deemed worthy of being resellable, tagged for sale. And then the public can patronize the store and pick up the items. And it's exactly what your wife's friend has found, a number of unique, one-of-a-kind items. I always tell people, if you see it and you love it, you have to pick it up right away, because if you wait and you think you're gonna come back, it'll be gone.
And that suggests that this merchandise, I don't know if merchandise is exactly the right word to use, but these items move quickly.
They do move quickly. They go through the process very quickly because we do have a number of loyal patrons, such as your wife's friend, that come by on a regular basis, and others that really see the cost value of shopping at the store. So,
Well, I mean, that's an interesting buying experience, because not only do you have this unique possibility of finding things you wouldn't find anywhere else, and this very interesting possibility of not finding it at one Goodwill store, but finding it at another Goodwill store. So it's worth getting in your car or your elevated rail, as the case may be, and going from one to the other and checking it out all over town so you can find that unique thing. And you mentioned, for example, you have a dinner set, you have a missing piece. You might find the missing piece at Goodwill.
absolutely. One of our customers told us this amazing story where she had inherited a china set from her grandmother, and it was missing one of the cups. And this was a beloved set that she remembered from when she was a little girl. And she was delighted to be able to come into one of our stores and, by surprise, just find that missing cup she was looking for. So it really is that experience where, you're not going to be able to find it on a regular retail store shelf. There are a number of really unique items in the stores.
Now, the other thing my wife's friend is cheap. She doesn't like to spend a penny she doesn't like to spend.
Why spend more than you have to?
Yeah, so she finds bargains.
Absolutely.
And the level of bargain at Goodwill is very great, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
You mentioned a TV set that you could buy real cheap, or
Absolutely.
Something that is extraordinarily a good price, and you can find it at Goodwill. Knock your socks off good price.
Absolutely. There are going to be gently used and also new items at Goodwill. And they're going to be very well priced for the public. in terms of most clothing, in terms of things like aloha shirts, even designer jeans, things like that, you're looking at things priced $10 or less. And in terms of household items and things like that, I myself bought a brand new set of drawers, brand new, had never been used. I think I spent $25. So you definitely can get a bargain at Goodwill.
Yeah. The other thing is, she likes to find things that are very unusual, like the tea set kind of thing. She likes to find things that she couldn't find anywhere else, and so this is really perfect for her. But there's a kind of barrier, I think, for a lot of other people. They're saying this is used. Somebody else has worn this shirt. Somebody else has used this tea set. It's not new. And I think, of all the places I've known, Hawaii is a place where people like it new. They don't like used. Maybe it's a status thing or, sort of cultural thing, who knows what. You like it new, you like it gleaming like in the ad, okay? How do you deal with that level of resistance?
I don't necessarily think it's a level of resistance per se. I think that the stores are really going to appeal to those individuals maybe then that are looking for something different, right? If I want something that's vintage, something that's unique, I could go to a store and I might go to school or to some other big public place and there might be 5 other people wearing my t-shirt. But if I go to Goodwill, I might have a better opportunity of finding something that really expresses who I am, that hopefully I'm the only one, kind of thing, at a very good price. And also then for the individuals that maybe are more financially strapped, if you're really trying to spend those dollars wisely and make it stretch, especially maybe for children who tend to grow out of things so quickly, Goodwill's a great option where you could clothe your entire family for $25 kind of thing.
Right,
so.
That's great. I mean, I remember growing up you always had to get new clothes because you outgrew your last set, and it was always more expensive than it should be. And this Goodwill sort of answers that for a lot of people who can't afford it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And definitely, in terms of the donations then, because it's very important for people to donate to Goodwill. That's where a lot of the items for the stores that we are able to resell come from. Because if you think about it, when you're donating to the store, when you're patronizing the store, sometimes the question I get is, well, what happens to that donation? Where does it go to? And that's the piece where we titled this segment, Goodwill More Than a Store. It really goes to supporting Goodwill as an organization and then the services that we're able to provide to the community.
I want to go through that whole cycle with you, all the steps of it. But first I'd like to sort of have the user experience. So I have some stuff. I have to get rid of it. I mean, I'd rather get rid of it than put it in storage.
Absolutely.
Because putting it in storage is always a bad idea.
And it costs you money to store your items.
It costs you money,
Yeah.
and you're not going to use it again. You've essentially thrown it away by putting it in storage. Then you have to pay the storage charge. Oh, it's a waste, just walking waste. So instead, you go to Goodwill. Now, how does that work? I bring my stuff in, and I'm going to contribute my gently used stuff, okay, to you. And you're going to give me a receipt?
Yes.
A charitable donation receipt?
Absolutely. So we have kind of 3 different ways that people can connect their donations to Goodwill now. We have different donation sites that are out in the community. Some have an attendant, some are just a drop-off. If you go to a site that has an attendant or you come to one of our stores to drop off, you then will be able to get that receipt, and it is a tax-deductible donation to Goodwill. And yes, we ask for your gently used items that would be in resellable condition.
Okay, so gently used means it's not bashed up. And
I'm sure none of your stuff is bad
no,
stuff.
but I love the word. I love the word because, you know, you're not saying it's not used. It is used, but it's used with a certain love, with a certain, it's a possession that somebody has enjoyed over time.
Has enjoyed and can live another life that someone else will enjoy in the
Live another
future.
life. That's great. So, okay, now I get a receipt, and when I get home, I can deduct that off my
Income tax return, yes.
Okay, that's really cool. But you have to fix the price. How do you fix the price?
So there's different set pricing structures. So in general, things like common items we're going to sell, jeans, aloha shirts, that sort of thing, will have, you know, set pricing depending on what sort of jeans it is, what sort of aloha shirts it is. Same thing with the furniture. So there's some general pricing guides we use, and so you'll see when you come into the store, like designer dresses, name brand dresses might be resold at Goodwill for maybe $8.99 kind of thing. So again, just general pricing guidelines that we use.
It strikes me that you've been doing this a long time. You are, I want to say you're unique in Hawaii. There's nobody else doing this, right?
There are other organizations that have this sort of collect donation resale model, but certainly we are one of the largest organizations in Hawaii doing it.
Because you've been doing it a long time, because you're one of only a few, you probably have a kind of clear channel on setting the price because you know about this. You know, if you have essentially taken in and resold, you know, 500,000 T-shirts over the past, 60 years, is it? Then you know how to price that.
Right, right.
So nobody's going to question you.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, then now you've taken it in, you've given the receipt. Now you're going to sell it pretty quick because people come. Okay, and now that gives you cash money. Okay, what happens?
Okay. So again, the revenues that are generated from the store support Goodwill as an organization. And then really the mission of Goodwill is to support individuals in gaining self-sufficiency. So what we like to tell people when they come to donate to Goodwill and they patron their stores is that you are a job creator. You are creating employment opportunities. You are creating pathways for people to get the training and the skills and their foot in the door, if they will, at these different organizations so that they can find employment.
See, it's more than a store. It's actually a job training facility. I bet you didn't know that, okay? And to be clear, we have a chart. It is the path. And we're going to show this to you right after the break. We're going to show you exactly how this works, okay, from one step to another. But for the moment, we're going to take a break. This is Lori Lau. She's with Goodwill Industries, and we're coming back in 1 minute. You will see.
Aloha, my name is PJ, and I'm the host of Hawaii Sports Update. I am very interested in local sports, and that's why I host the Hawaii Sports Update show. I bring in guests from Hawaii, I bring in guests from UH, I bring in guests from the community, I bring in big names, I bring in small names, I bring in all names that are community related and doing positive things, sports related in the community. Come join me every Tuesday at 1 p.m. here on Hawaii Sports Update. You can also join me on my golf tournament, the first annual PJ Sports Radio Show golf tournament. It's going to be held at Coral Creek. For any information, go to ThinkTech Hawaii, INC, and friend us. The PayPal and a summary of the event will be right there available for you. And don't forget to tweet us.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're here with Lori Lau of Goodwill Industries, and we're talking about Goodwill Industries, more than a store. And as far as we got in the last segment, we found, to our surprise and delight, that Goodwill is a training organization for people who have issues in getting trained for work, which is, so who is your target audience for that?
So actually we service a number of different communities. Everyone, in terms of moving up through age groups, we have programs for at-risk youth. We have programs to help people that are reintegrating, so either on work furlough or have been recently released from incarceration. We have a number of different programs that service people with intellectual disabilities. We also have a number of programs that serve people that are low income and so receiving public assistance.
Well, that's a pretty broad swatch. And how do you train them exactly?
So within each of our different programs, there might be some different models in terms of the different goals that the program has and trying to adjust to work with the unique people in the program. But in general, Goodwill has staff that are trained to work with motivational interviewing, to work with job coaching and job counseling. We do a lot of goal setting. And then we have curriculum that we can use to walk them through even the basics of how to make a resume, how to apply for a job, how to prepare for an interview, present themselves. And then we do a lot of job placement. So we work directly with the business community to create job opportunities and help create a pathway for people into employment.
So when you say work with, you mean you approach the business community and say, do I have a candidate for you? Goodwill Industries trained.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have a number of business partners that really see the value of helping people go back into employment. It's not about a handout, it's about giving people a hand up. And these businesses are really committed to providing those employment opportunities to people who are looking for employment and want to work. And so we're able to call them and ask them, do you have a job that's available? I have a candidate that I think is going to be a great fit for you. And we can get interviews sometimes that day, that week for individuals to be able to get started on that path back to employment.
So how do you find your applicants and trainees?
Well,
Or how do they find you?
Absolutely. So there's two different ways. For some of the programs, there is a direct referral source. So from the Department of Human Services, OIS, WIA, they're referred to Goodwill and in the program that way. We also have opportunities for the general public. You're just looking for support for yourself, a friend, a family member, where they can just come in as a walk-in. And if the program is a good fit for them, join the program that way.
And who trains them? Do you have a specific group of people who train them and attend to them?
So within Goodwill, our teams, our staff, they are trained to work directly with the individuals in our programs. And so we have staff that are available, they're working to work with the different individuals.
And that's across the board. In other words, you don't have a different training unit for each store. You have one big training unit that covers all the stores.
And so it's twofold. So definitely if someone is coming in and they actually want to work for Goodwill, the company, and they want to work in the store, then we provide training, customer service training, on-the-job training for whatever position they're hired for.
It's good training for retail, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But then within our other programs, like when we're talking about the at-risk youth or the low-income folks, the people coming out of incarceration, we're actually training them and preparing them for employment in the community. So they could be working in food service, they could be working in customer service, they could be working at all sorts of construction, landscaping, any sort of job that they're interested in and qualified to work at.
Okay, so we start out with getting donations. We go to selling the goods, gently used. Then we go to using the money from the sale of the goods to train people and put them back in jobs in the community. And then we have a chart to show you how this gets back to square one.
Absolutely, Jay. I think you did such a good job. We almost don't need the chart.
Well, we're going to show a graphic of the chart on the screen here in a minute, so viewers can get a good look at it.
Absolutely. So it's exactly what you said, right? The life cycle of how Goodwill impacts the community is interacting with the community in terms of the donations and people patronizing the stores. The revenues from the stores support Goodwill, the organization, and Goodwill is providing job training and support to people to gain their self-sufficiency. And by that, we're able to impact our community by really helping Hawaii's families back into employment, being able to take care of themselves, being able to reach their goals. And then they will hopefully be able to donate back to us. So,
Yeah, and you used an interesting phrase here, environmental sustainability, by keeping viable items out of the landfill. I think that's great.
Absolutely.
So it's a really major piece.
Absolutely. We actually say to ourselves that we're one of the original green employers in a sense of being able to divert tons of items that are actually reusable and could benefit somebody else, both in terms of an item that they would love to have and use and the revenue generated to support the job training. So instead of that going into the landfill, it can get its second life and it can really benefit our community.
Yeah, well, that's, all those things are perfect. Now, the question is, why aren't you running the whole state? In other words, this is so good. Why aren't more people using it to the point where there are 20 stores or 30 stores? Is there a magic limit to how big you can be in the state of Hawaii?
Well, I think as an organization, we're continuing to grow. Even this year, we're adding in additional services. So we were awarded different contracts to be able to provide, for instance, an immigrant resource center. And we're expanding the different donation pickup sites. I know that they recently went into Windward Mall. And so I think you're right. I don't think we've hit capacity and that there's definitely room for growth. And we want to service as many individuals as possible. So being able to really benefit the community that we live in.
Yeah. Now, right outside in Kaka'ako, there's, my estimate would be 10,000 homeless. I know the city says 5, but just for this discussion, let's accommodate me and believe for a moment that's 10,000.
It's double, it's 10.
All right. Are they coming to you?
They are. You know, so certainly individuals, I said there's some of the programs are able to accept walk-ins. And so even in terms of some of the different other services that these individuals are connected to, some of them might be receiving services in terms of a health center for their health care. Some of them might be receiving services because they are connected with a food distribution site. And so those places will make referrals for them, tell them Goodwill is available and here's some of the services we can provide. And then they do find their way to us.
Yeah, that's great. Where is your training site anyway, training area?
Well, we have programs on all of the major islands. So we're in Hilo and in Kona. We're on Maui, Oahu, and then Kauai.
Ooh, really? You know, they say that there's a lot more near poverty on the neighbor islands than there is in Oahu. I really don't know if that's true, but people have said that. Do you have a lot of clientele on the neighbor islands?
We do.
Yeah.
We do. We do service quite a few individuals on the neighbor islands.
Can you give me the numbers? Can you know, sort of how many people do you service in the the job training aspect?
So last year, in terms of our program services, we served a little over 12,000 individuals statewide. So quite a few different people come into us for the various programs that we provide.
And I mean, if the metric is how many do you get jobs? How many walk out with a job? Do they all get jobs? do a high percentage get jobs?
A high percentage do get jobs, and that is going to vary definitely based off of the individual. So if someone is coming in from wherever they're starting, their path might be longer, right, in terms of employment. Some people come in more job ready than others. But definitely the goal is to help the individuals with their self-sufficiency, and if they want to work, preparing for that employment and helping them reach their goals.
Brilliant, really. I have to say that I find this whole thing kind of an ecosystem within the ecosystem. You know, that it's only good, and it helps us from the inside. It has no particular drag on it. You know, it's always, it helps us without a price, so to speak.
Right.
Every aspect of this is positive.
Right. I mean, I really couldn't agree more. You know, in terms of, for myself, for the staff that are working within the programs, we have the benefit really of walking alongside these individuals and being their cheerleader and being a support system in terms of guidance and coaching to help them reach their goals. You know, I can think of one woman who's actually going to be featured in our annual fundraiser, which is actually next week. And when she came to Goodwill, she had spent the last 10 years or so in and out of incarceration. She had struggled with substance abuse issues from when she was a teenager. She had had multiple children, which had been taken away from her from periods of time, and she'd recently been able to start to reunite with her family. And when she came to Goodwill, you know, we were able to provide, again, that job training, helping her prepare for employment, helping her work through when there were some disappointments in the job search. And I'm proud to say for her, I couldn't be more thrilled, you know, that she is working and she's providing for herself, she's providing for her family. And she's just, you know, one example of the way that we can really change lives through the support of the different funders of the program, and again, the community supporting through donations and the stores.
Now, what is your relationship with Aloha United Way?
Mm-hmm.
That's why we call this Aloha United We Stand.
Yes.
I mean, they make contributions to you, is that it?
Yes. So Aloha United Way has provided grant funding to Goodwill and has supported both our volunteer income tax assistance program, which we're going to short name VITA because it's just easier to say. And what VITA is
It's a great word, a great acronym.
It's a great acronym. It's actually part of the IRS, and it is Goodwill volunteers and community volunteers being able to provide free income tax preparation to low to moderate income families. And then the other thing Aloha United Way supports is financial literacy classes that Goodwill is able to provide. So they're open to the public, and individuals that are coming in to learn the values of financial literacy can come in and do that. And so we're really appreciative of Aloha United Way making that funding available so that we can continue to do this work.
Okay, we're going to take another break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Lori Lau. We're going to talk about exactly what she does for Goodwill, why she does it for Goodwill, and her own interface with all the people involved in the circle. We'll be right back.
Aloha, my name is Miley Scarpino, and I'm the host of the Empower Hour. If you're interested in health, nutrition, fitness, here on the island of Oahu, want to learn more about places to train at or different trainers available, then watch my show on Fridays at 3. We have a great time, and I hope that you'll come join us. Much aloha. Now go get swole.
Aloha, I'm Keli'i Akina, president of the Grassroots Institute, and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right and what's good and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to ThinkTech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Okay, we're back. We're live. We're having a wonderful time with Lori Lau of Goodwill Industries. She is the what?
Director of Workforce Development.
Director of Workforce Development. Okay, and workforce has to be, well, is it the staff in Goodwill, or is it the job training people that you're developing?
We consider it to be the job training. So our programs that are preparing individuals for employment, so the Hawaii workforce.
Okay, well, considering that is the real mission of Goodwill, that's an important job.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you spend your day, Lori Lau?
How do I spend my day? Well, I have the privilege of being able to support some of the different teams within Goodwill that are directly then providing the services to our different participants. And so it's great. I get to provide developmental trainings. I get to really help them to figure out different ways to provide the service. And I, once in a while, get to interact with the actual individuals that are job seeking and then get to hear these amazing stories.
Yeah. So you train the trainers.
Sometimes I do get to do that, and I
Okay.
actually love training. So.
Okay. Well, what makes you love training?
Do you know, I think that there's really something in getting to see someone have that light bulb moment when they really get to understand the topic and how it applies to them, and then to get to see that put into action is really a great thing.
Yeah. What brought you to this place in life?
Actually,
That's really asking for your bio.
asking for my bio. Well, I actually came to Goodwill, and I was providing direct services in the See Hawaii Work program. That's a subsidized employment program from the Department of Human Services. And then just had the opportunity to move up within the company and became a program supervisor and then an assistant director. And then last May, I'm now the director of workforce development.
Oh, that's great.
So even within Goodwill, there really is opportunities for growth. We really do a great job of promoting from within. And you really can look for a career at Goodwill.
Really? I mean, you got a pension plan and all that?
We do the 401k,
All right.
gotta save your pennies, so.
Okay, so how long have you been with Goodwill?
This November is going to make 10 years.
Oh, okay. Wow, you've seen it all then.
I have been there
That's
for a
long
while.
time. Well, now, you elected, I mean, you could have gone into the business community. What's your schooling anyway?
Background in psychology.
Psychology.
So I was just a nut for people from the start.
Yeah, well, that's like, I never met a psychologist I didn't like, actually. And where'd you study?
At UH. At UH.
Ah, good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what in that, I guess this is an easy question. I think I can answer it myself. But what in that makes you want to do what you do?
Do you know, I think that there are many different ways that you can spend your day and spend your time. But there is something deeply satisfying about investing in others, right? And really getting to spend your day. And I feel lucky that I'm privileged to be able to, as a career, spend my day supporting other individuals on their path to bettering their life and reaching their goals.
Okay, that is perfect, actually. I wonder about where we are in Hawaii. You know, we have a lot of people who are underwater, and they don't have jobs, and their lives are not really organized very well, and for a variety of reasons. And you're one of many, many, probably hundreds actually, of organizations that are dedicated to do the job and try to help them fix their lives. Is it like this all over in the country? Is it like this all over in the world? I mean, do you find that there's a certain percentage of the people who haven't got it together and who don't have a decent job, who are living underwater? Or are we unique in some way? Do we have a greater problem, or do we have a lesser problem than other places?
Yeah, I mean, definitely as you think about that, I think the issue of poverty and the poor have always been with us. I don't think it's unique to Hawaii. Certainly, nationally and internationally, there are people that are struggling and don't have enough to be able to support themselves. I think in Hawaii, we definitely have our unique challenges that come with being an island state, where you can't just get into your car and drive to the next state for a job. And also, again, the very high cost of living in Hawaii. But I also think in Hawaii, we have this real spirit of aloha, where we really do care for our family, our friends, our neighbors. And so this is also a really great place to work in the business of helping others, because I really think that Hawaii is just a really special place. And we really do understand that we're all connected to each other, and we're all on this island rock together. And so really, it's about lifting all of us up, and we'll all be better as a community for it.
Yeah,
So.
I agree with you, absolutely. Absolutely. And say if there are, 200 charities out there helping people, then we have a better community for it. We show our aloha. We show that we want to help people. And you're right about being on a rock too, because you can't drive off and you have other options elsewhere. You're locked in. And so these 200 charities, I'm guessing on the number, but these 200 charities are really important, not only for the people they help, but for the well-being of the entire state.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about, why people should care about Goodwill. We kind of answered it in this discussion, but I still like to know what you think. Why should I go down and give my stuff to Goodwill? And I guess you also take cash contributions too.
Oh, absolutely.
I figured you'd say yes on that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Why should I make contributions to Goodwill? Why should I care about what Goodwill does?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to what we've been talking about in this segment, this cycle of impact, right? We're really engaging with the community in order for them to donate gently used items, but cash is great too, or your time as a volunteer.
You have volunteers.
Like for our event, which is next week, our annual fundraiser, we do need a number of volunteers to support us.
What is it like? What kind of event is that?
It's actually a pop-up store. So we go to the Blaisdell and we create the largest Goodwill store, a giant pop-up.
Oh, that sounds like fun.
Absolutely. And we spend all year sourcing different items from all of the different stores that we collect.
Biggest and best ever.
And we send it all down to the Blaisdell for that day. And it's really this great opportunity for someone that hasn't interacted with Goodwill in one of the stores to come down to the Blaisdell for the pop-up and shop and have a great time.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. I mean, you get the benefit of all the stores in one place.
You get the benefit of all the stores. We kind of do the sourcing for you and try to make it easy for you to buy all those things that you love.
Yeah, right. And since somebody has to select these things in order to show them off at the Blaisdell, you know that this is the creme de la creme of what Goodwill has.
Definitely. I mean, I think we try to provide a good variety of items, because you never know who's going to come through the door. But definitely in terms of having those really special items, they do pull them and have them available at the store,
Yeah.
the pop-up.
Okay, so that's one. And what time and date is that, next week?
It's going to be next week, so it'll be Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Blaisdell.
Okay, gee whiz, that's important, that one. That sounds like great fun. What other events do you have through the year?
Yeah, in terms of individuals that are looking for services from Goodwill, I mentioned the financial literacy classes that Aloha United Way is supporting. So definitely if you want to come in to those classes, check the website.
Anybody can come.
Anybody can come. I think earlier in this segment, we mentioned the tax clinics that we provide. So this coming tax season, look for us to open February, March. Come get your taxes done at Goodwill. And then if you're looking for a job, your family, friends, someone you know is in need, definitely contact Goodwill. We can see if we have a program that is a good fit for you, if it is something that you are interested in, and then look at providing you services that way.
Ah, terrific. So what message would you leave for our listeners on how they can engage with Goodwill? What are the ways that a person who has had no contact with Goodwill can now engage with Goodwill?
Mm-hmm. I would say definitely if you've never been to our website, there's a whole host of information there, and you can get more information about the different programs and services. You can also get information there in terms of where are the donation drop-off points if you would like to donate any goods to Goodwill. And then it's also going to have up-to-date information on the different events and opportunities where if you'd like to show up, we'd love to meet you, see you, and then see if there's anything that we can provide to you in terms of a service.
Fabulous organization. I understand better now why my wife's friend likes to go down there. But I also understand more about Aloha United Way and why it supports these very special charities in Hawaii. For the benefit of all of us, not just the immediate recipients, but for all of us, we need to have this. There are a lot of groups in Hawaii that need this service, and you provide this service, and you do it painlessly. So good for you, good for Aloha United Way for supporting you.
We're definitely appreciative.
Thank you, Lori Lau.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Take care.